I know it's been probably a good month that I've done a live. I figured this is gonna be the start off of doing lives again. Had a foot injury and then I just got really lazy. But the reason for this live is I want to go more in depth with the last video I did about hydration. I know I didn't go much into depth at all, but I have visuals and I have a whole bunch of notes and bullet points that I want to go over of hydration that's more in depth. I just have to okay. The hydration unit was the biggest unit or chapter that I did. Don't mind the background noise. So, hydration. I'm gonna do different scenarios, 2 different scenarios, and then I will go over the hydration for that. The hydration status affects the 2 major influential factors concerning performance and exercise in hot environments. Cardiovascular and thermoregulatory function. Let's see if I can pronounce that right. So it should be noted that the low intensity exercises should be at least 6 fluid ounces of consumption, which is 6-fold fluid consumption, which is about 7.5 liters versus 0.3. So for scenario 1, after refraining from workout for several years since high school, a friend tells you, well, this was put into my perspective as I'm the nutrition coach. So a friend tells me, that a week of upper body weight lifting has resulted in repeatedly dark urine color and very stiff and swollen elbow joints. So you can, a person who hasn't gone into depth can just be like, oh, he's dehydrated. Yes, but we're going to take that into further detail. So exertional rhabdomyolysis, if I'm saying that correct, or ER, or is, as it's often referred to as rhabdo. It is a condition in which muscle cell membranes rupture and leak high amounts of proteins, such as myoglobin and creatine kinase, into the extracellular fluid after abnormally hard or high intensity workouts. So usual symptoms and side effects would be puffiness, stiff and swollen joints, abnormal muscle soreness, and sore joints. And also the key symptoms of ER, because the kidney must handle abnormal and excess amounts of nitrogen and amino acids. So, dehydration is for athletes and personal training clients is often caused by excessive sweating or lack of fluid intake. So, if you don't take much of fluid intake before and during your workout exercise, you're going to become dehydrated. If you properly give yourself the fluid intake before and during and after, then you can decrease the risk of being dehydrated. So let me find. Okay. So in dry, humid climates, water loss also occurs through evaporative loss of fluids in the mouth and respiratory tract. The aerobic pathways process is used to produce ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. That is the result of the formation of new water molecules in the body. So here's an analysis for you guys for the sweat loss assessment, which you can do on yourselves, or if you're working with a personal trainer will go over the sweat loss, well, not personal trainer, but the nutrition coach will go over the sweat loss assessment with you. So for the analysis, it is possible to drive a car without a functioning fuel gauge, but you'll only run into trouble if you fail to fill the gas tank up frequently enough. This analogy is almost perfect because for describing the importance of sweat loss assessment before developing a hydration strategy for yourself or for nutrition coaches, your client. Dehydration from sweat loss rarely has a severe negative effect on performance or impairs health. So most clients, athletes, workouts will not likely produce major sweat losses, and those losses can easily be replaced by ad libitum, which that is translates to as desired and refers to eating and drinking as you normally are driven to, not purposely overeating or under eating. So basically giving yourself adequate fluids that your body needs. Where was that? Oh, fluid intake during training and recovery. Sweat loss assessment allows the nutrition coach to determine if their client major fluid deficient. Oh my God. If they do indeed experience major fluid deficiencies, and if any other intervention is needed. So consider these following questions to make sure you kind of gauge yourself on the hydration and water and fluid intake. How do you know how much of a fluid deficient you will incur? How do you determine the level of fluid replacement that will inhibit performance decrement? How do you know how much of a fluid deficit your client will incur? To determine sweat rate, you only need a reliable scale, preferably digital, but that's not really important right now. Weigh before and after the workout that matches the normal intensity in the environment conditions. So, okay, the equation for that is your initial weight. Weigh yourself, write that down. Then you subtract post weight. So after your workout, you write down your post weight. Then you write down your fluid consumption between weigh-ins. So how much water or fluid you drink during the workout. Then you will subtract the post weight and add the fluid consumption, and then subtract the urine volume, which is how many times you go to the bathroom. And that will be your sweat loss volume. So here's an example of one. Joe ran for an hour at a pace of 8 minutes per mile in 74-degree weather with low humidity. His nude pre and post weigh-ins were 70.0 and 68.5 kilograms respectively. He drank 0.350 kilograms or liters of water from his bottle. He did not use the restroom during his run. So his initial weight, they said, was 70 kilograms. So you take that, subtract the post weigh-in, which was the 68.5 kilograms. Then plus the fluid consumption between the weigh-ins, which is 0.350 kilograms or liters, minus the urine, which is 0, because he didn't go to the bathroom at all, and the sweat loss volume is 1.850 kilograms. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends that fluid intake should not exceed the sweat loss volume, and a fluid deficit should be limited to less than 2% of the body mass. For a 70 kilogram, 154 pound client, this would mean the fluid intake should not allow body mass to decrease more than 1.4 kilograms or exceed 70 kilograms during exercise. A convincing argument can be made that athletes should only drink to thirst, and multiple hydration guidelines have been written on this premise. I lost my page. I had my pages bookmarked. Multiple factors can lead to exaggerated risk of EAH, and that is exercise-associated hypotremia. And that is a potentially serious medical condition in which the plasma sodium falls below 135 liters, usually the result of fluid intake greatly exceeding sweat losses during prolonged exercise. So that is the result of drinking beyond your body mass, than the 0.2% of your body mass. So that's how you know you're overhydrated. That's besides the point. As I said, severe thirst or lack of thirst may help indicate if an athlete or a person is dehydrated. That's the point. Alright, so recovery hydration. We talked about the pre-hydration, during hydration, and now we're doing the recovery hydration. So fluid and electrolyte intake between 2 consecutive training sessions or competition. So you have your warm-up, your workout, cool down. The recovery hydration is going to happen during the cool down. So for most athletes, it is, well, for runners, it's a 15-minute run, or at least it was for me in high school. And then stretches. So we did the 15-minute cool down run, had fluid intake, then did the stretching, and then did more fluid intake. So that is basically replenish the electrolytes and water that your body lost. Some hydration guidelines prescribe fluid intake for before and after exercise. So, which that's basically where a nutrition coach basically tells you a plan, gives you a plan on when you need to drink water in a certain amount. The key to recovery hydration is to replace sweat loss fluids and maximize the retention of those fluids before the next training session. So the idea behind this replacement prescription is roughly 1/3 of the beverage intake. It will be lost through urine voids, which is basically going to the bathroom. Sodium, protein, and carbohydrate intake support fluid retention by decreasing relative urine production. It is a popular belief that hunger is disguised as thirst. There may be some truth that drinking before eating decreases food intake, which you can see that happen when you drink a carbonated beverage before you eat. You start to feel full because of the carbonation. But there is no doubt that food consumption encourages fluid consumption. That is true. You eat something salty, you get thirsty. You eat something sweet, you want milk or water. Sodium-rich food items increase fluid intake and retention during recovery. So that is such as mustard, pickles, pickle juice, and pretzels. That all which mainly make you thirsty. All foods will. Eating and snacking between training is paramount to optimizing recovery hydration efforts. Some fruits and veggies contain up to 90% of their mass as water and also contain potassium, which is the key ICF electrolyte. Many athletes and people falsely assume that water is the only beverage or drink that improves hydration status. All beverages, excluding those with alcohol, increase total body water. Caffeine has also been miscast for physically active populations, but habitual consumption of caffeine and exercise negate the direct effect of caffeine. The only good thing about pickle juice is it reduces the urine output. Now, for the main question, how much water is enough? To answer that, how much do you sweat? You gotta answer a question with a question. How much do you sweat? Which then you can go to the urine-specific gravity, which is that measures the particle concentration and density versus the water in urine. Nutrient timing is a hot topic among hydration status and fitness professionals. Depending on the audience, nutrient timing can elicit the different. Metabolism is a chemical process. So that covers that. This is very critical. This is going to be my last bullet point. But during activities with high thermal stress and during humid times, nutrition coaches should offer free access to a variety of fluids during hydration breaks, during the workout, before the workout, and after, and encourage people to drink on their own because of their thirst dictates more fluid intake. So, again, it is true what they say. If your pee's clear, you're hydrated. The darker it is, the more dehydrated you are. Basically, follow your body and drink when you are thirsty. Because if you start to get thirsty, I mean, you're already reaching the point of dehydration. So, listen to your body. It will tell you what you need. So yeah, that is what I wanted to go into depth more for. We're going to do different bullet points on different days. And Monday is when I'm going to start doing the live workouts again. So, watch out and stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed today's talk, and I'll see you guys Monday.